Good afternoon, Portage Bible Church. Pastor Ben here for our pre-sermon video for the upcoming message this Sunday. We're a day late today, but that's okay. As we think about starting James chapter 3, we're going to be looking at the first 5 verses. And as James enters this topic of the tongue, how we speak, and as believers being conformed to the image of Christ, as James writes that the purpose of his letter is to mature us into the image of Jesus Christ by being mature and complete in our faith, that our faith is indeed at work in all that we do. And as we've been talking through chapter 2, we've been thinking about how our faith is proved real by our works. Not that we work for salvation, but because we have it, we want to show that it is real and give evidence of its growth. Now we enter a little bit more specific topic of the tongue. If chapter 2 is about the things we did to show our faith, chapter 3 shows about what we say and how we say it to show that our faith is real. Looking back very briefly, in chapter 1, verse 19, we heard these words, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear and slow to speak." We are reflecting on what it means to be hearers and doers of the word, and to think about how we say things, the way we say things, and being listeners to God's scripture. In verse 26, James writes, "If anyone thinks he's religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, that person's religion is worthless." Now here in chapter 3, James is really going to flesh that out, and he gives multiple analogies of that bridling of the tongue. The way we put a bit in a horse's mouth and steer it wherever we want. We can bring it under control. That is quite easy in comparison to taming the tongue. James chapter 3, verse 1 tells us this, "Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness. For we all stumble in many ways. And if anyone does not stumble in what he says, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle his whole body. If we put bits into the mouth of horses so that they obey us, we guide their whole bodies as well. Look at the ships also. Though they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are guided by a very small rudder, wherever the will of the pilot directs. So also the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things." And that's where we're going to stop for this Sunday. But I want you to take the next couple of days in preparation for Sunday to reflect on this, to pray through this, and to realize that we need to be very careful with the words we say. Now, a lot of times, very briefly, we can talk about how the use of words, and especially when it comes to bad language, that we need to avoid. And Ephesians, the book of Ephesians, talks a lot about this. But if we think that James 3 is all about just saying the right thing and not saying bad words, that's a very surface level understanding. In the context of everything we've been talking about in the previous videos, that our faith is at work, and especially as we already read in James chapter 1, our faith is proved by what we say and how we say it. And a lot of times, as there, verse 5 tells us, it boasts of great things. A lot of times, who claim to be Christians, and those who are, can commit the mistake, or, as he says, stumble in many ways, that we say a lot of things, and we say a lot of right things because we know the language of Christianity. We know the language of the Bible. Yet, oftentimes what happens is our lives don't match what we say we believe. So James's point is, be careful about what you say and how you say it, and what you proclaim and what you teach, because you're going to be judged according to that. So be careful about what you boast in. Be careful about what you proclaim. Make sure your life matches it. It's not just about what you shouldn't say. It's also about how we say it, what we say, and does it compare, or is it consistent with how we are living? So be prayerful about that. Pray for me as I continue to study this weekend in preparation for Sunday, and we'll see you on Sunday morning.